You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
All set for your flight?
Yep, I've got everything I need. Eye mask, neck pillow, T-Mobile, headphones.
Wait, T-Mobile?
You bet. Free in-flight Wi-Fi. 15% off all Hilton brands. I never go anywhere without T-Mobile. Same goes for my water bottle, chewing gum, nail clippers,
okay,
passport.
I'm gonna leave you to it.
Find out how you can experience travel better at T-Mobile.com/travel.
Qualifying plan required. Wi-Fi were available on select U.S. airlines. Deposit and Hilton Honors membership required for 15% discount. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Hello everyone, Neal here. Before we begin today's episode, I wanted to take a moment on behalf of all of us here at Triviality to memorialize and pay tribute to Tristan Turner, one of our dedicated listeners who recently passed away at the age of 24. Not only was Tristan a loyal listener, a Patreon supporter, and a former guest on episode 120, but he was always a constant source of encouragement in our Facebook group, The Crop, interacting with other listeners and cracking jokes with all of you upon each episode's release. Tristan, or T, as some of his friends and family would call him, was known to liven up an entire room with just his presence, especially with his contagious laugh. He called Joplin, Missouri home, and by day was a table games dealer at a casino. Tristan was a talented guitar player, musician, and singer, and often made his weekly D&D nights even more memorable than the last with his vibrant personality. On top of his passion for music, he enjoyed video games and golfing with his grandfather. His friend Dylan reached out to us to break the news and mentioned how Tristan was a big fan of our show. While we were devastated to hear this, we wanted to make sure we took a moment before today's episode to honor him in the best way we could. While we were only able to interact with Tristan over an episode recording and digitally through Facebook and email, it was clearly evident that he was not only loved, but loving of those around him. On behalf of Ken, Matt, and Jeff, I'd like to offer his family, friends, and loved ones our deepest condolences. Thank you for listening, and please enjoy the show.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal, and I'm looking at Matt right now with a fresh internet connection. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good. Probably sound a little better than last time.
Yeah, last time you were on your phone, all we saw was your nostrils and your eyes up close on your cell phone.
I had to turn it off because it was scaring the ladies of misinformation, I believe.
I think it was.
He really knows his angles, though.
You're right. Matt had a circle light, as you may have seen on TikTok. He had some nice lighting, all across his face, but it was still just his nostrils. And that was Jeff. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well today. Neal, how are you?
I'm doing well. Eating a little blueberry banana bowl here. So staying healthy.
A whole hour for eating, and then you're still doing this on air.
That's I know. Amazing. I just wanted to have some fruit today. I didn't have any, so
I made a giant peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh, did you?
Speaking of, though, how was that banana bread, Neal?
The banana bread, yeah, Jeff made some banana bread with Angie. It was very good, and I don't want to say how much of it I ate by myself in one sitting, but let's just say it was a lot. So
good. I'm glad.
Yes.
Jeff's becoming very domestic.
He is. We need actually. So listeners, if you can,
hey, Ken's here too.
Ken is here.
Hiya.
And Ken came up with the idea before we started recording that the listeners should nominate what kind of apron Jeff should be wearing when he's baking, because he's baking a lot lately. So is it a kiss the cook? Is it a, hands off the chef? Or I don't know what other kind of aprons there are, but.
Yes. Yesterday I made s'mores bites and banana nut muffins, and today I'm going to make brownies.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. You're keeping busy. And Ken, just so you know,
learning to hone my skills.
You are learning how to hone your skills. Ken, last 2 weeks have been vegan, so I'm there with you.
Oh,
could ship some of those treats out to our Patreon supporters. I don't know how long they'll last in the mail, but
yeah, we need to put them in what is that? Not liquid nitrogen. That would be bad.
Dry ice.
Yeah.
Liquid nitrogen would not be good.
Yeah, that would be the ending of Time Cop when Ron Silver is punched to pieces by Jean-Claude Van Damme. But we have a very special host with us today. He's an NXT champion on Patreon, and we appreciate his support. We're very, very excited, especially Ken, and we'll tell you why in a bit. But that is Chris Hine from Minneapolis. How's it going, Chris?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you? Nice to see all of you here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why Ken is so excited today?
Sure. So I work as a sports writer for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. I cover the Minnesota Timberwolves and have done that for the last 2.5 years. But prior to coming to Minneapolis, I covered the Blackhawks for the Chicago Tribune for about 3 years. I worked at the Tribune for about 8 years, covering colleges and then eventually the Blackhawks. And I started covering the Blackhawks right around the time they stopped winning Stanley Cups. So I guess you can kind of point to me as a bit of a jinx.
You're like
nah.
No, yeah, I was gonna say you're not a jinx. And
so much happened to the team. Yeah, that's the fault of the sports writer.
Well, for some people on Twitter, yes, it is the fault.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Like one day of your mentions has to be horrible. I would not want anything to do with that. So.
Yeah, there were days where they got a little hairy. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah.
And I'm sure the casual sports fan has been asking you if you're watching The Last Dance. Have you been binging on that every Sunday? I have. It's very entertaining. I did not grow up a Bulls fan, and there may be a question related to The Last Dance coming up in the game here. Foreshadow. It's entertaining as hell. I love it, even if Jordan basically approved everybody who was talking, and it's his version of events. It's still a lot of fun to watch that. Well, Chris, I know you wrote today's game in our normal format. We're super excited to play it, and I think we're gonna do a wager here. The teams are going to be me and Matt versus Ken and Jeff, sort of a rematch from a recent game where Matt and I slightly edged out Ken and Jeff. But before we get the team names, we came up with another wager. We figured since you're a sports writer, you're in that world, and you have to deal with rivalries on a daily basis. I think the losing team on the next recording will have to talk glowingly for 1 minute about a team that they despise. How does that sound, guys?
Love it. I love it. I can't wait to hear Bears fans gloat about the Packers. It'll be great.
All right. So you guys are going to do a Timberwolves related team name, right?
Yeah. What do you think, Matt?
Well, I mean, we had discussed earlier, you're a big Justin Timberlake fan. So we're going with the Justin Timberwolves.
And Jeff, you had a good one for us related to the Blackhawks, right?
Yes. We're going to be the Sod Squad.
All right. So let's toss it to the rules guy.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop!
Yeah, he had a pretty good Charles Barkley impression.
No, you didn't think it was terrible?
It's different to hear that in person. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
What an
He's
experience.
a very talented man.
All right, Chris, take it away when you're ready.
All right, here we go. Just a quick hint. Some of the category names, pay attention to them. They might offer a hint towards the answer.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. Question number 1 is party animals. In 1912, Theodore Roosevelt ran for a 3rd term as president after he was frustrated by the policies of his successor in office, William Howard Taft. Roosevelt ran as the candidate of the short-lived Progressive Party, which was also known by what nickname?
Jeff
and I can lock in.
Oh, man.
Wow. I feel like we've heard this history before, like tangentially, probably from Jeff or something. So we're looking for an animal, right? Or a mascot of a party?
I think so.
It's not the Whigs. Was it the Donkey Party? Or no, the donkey is Democrat.
No, was this like a moose?
The Moose
familiar?
Party, right? That sounds familiar. Yeah, because I think we had a question about the moose party, and we're like, who would be into moose?
Yeah,
moose
and I think the
mooses?
answer, I think we got it the other way, where we had to name the president. I think we can go with moose party.
Yeah, I like that. Let's lock that in.
All right, Jeff, you want to slightly modify their answer?
I do. So you can't stop a bull moose. Although apparently you can shoot one when he's doing a speech.
Yeah, so I have a decision to make on the first question here, but I think I'm going to give 10 points to the Sod Squad and 0 to the Justin Timberwolves because bull moose is the correct answer.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
We'll survive.
All right, moving on to question 2. Since the last question was about the Bull Moose Party, why not a question about the Chicago Bulls? The popular documentary, The Last Dance, chronicles Michael Jordan's career with the Bulls. Jordan won 6 NBA championships during his tenure, and he beat 5 different franchises to win those 6 titles. Name 3 of those 5, 2 bonus points for the extras.
Okay, we can lock in.
Yep, Matt and I know this one.
All right, so we got the Jazz for sure.
Possibly
the
the Suns, I think maybe.
I'm positive about the Jazz and the Sonics.
Okay.
So what about the Pistons?
Are they in the same conference?
Oh, was that could have been semi. If you're confident about the Suns, that would be fine with me.
I think they beat Phoenix one year, yeah.
Okay, so we'll lock in with the Sonics, the Suns, and the Jazz.
Okay, and then we'll lock in with 91 Lakers, 92 Blazers, 93 Suns, 95 Sonics, or 96, whatever that was, and then 97 and 98 Jazz.
All right, so the team named after a basketball team gets full credit, 14 points for getting all 5, and the Sod Squad gets 10 for getting 3, Jazz, Sonics, and Suns.
Take
points all around. Yes. All right, so...
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to come back on the show if I got that one wrong. So.
Man, I miss those Sonics uniforms and the Kemp and Peyton, man. Those green uniforms were always great.
Yeah, these were the 90s version with the giant Space Needle on it and like graphics all over. Because they did that for a bunch of the franchises in the 90s and they were super ugly. The Hornet or the Rockets and the Bucks had them too.
Magic and Rockets always looked very similar. They had like that pinstripey look to them.
Believe it or not, Matt, when I was a young boy, I was very into watching the Bulls.
Yeah. There you go. Remember those Suns.
Right, on to question 3, a different kind of trailblazer. In 2014, this man became the first openly gay player to participate in an NBA game after coming out in a Sports Illustrated article months earlier.
I remember hearing about this, but I have no idea about his name. Absolutely none, Jeff. So if you want to lock in with a guess, that would be fine.
Yeah, I have no idea either. I wish I knew.
Brian Johnson. No, that's the guy from AC/DC, right?
Brian Johnson. No, wait, that's the guy who ruined Star Wars.
Brian Lochte. Brian Lochte. All right.
Oh.
We're locked in with Brian Lochte.
Okay.
The swimmer's brother.
It's funny that they say brother because I believe this guy had a twin brother who was also in the NBA, or I don't know if they're twins, but I'm pretty sure it's Jason Collins.
Jason Collins. Was he a guy on the? He was on the Celtics before.
He was on the Nets. That's where he was mostly known for.
Okay.
But yeah, Jason Collins.
Okay, that's fine with me. I don't know.
And 10 more points for the basketball team. Jason Collins is the correct answer. And his brother Jaren was an NBA player as well. And I believe he's an assistant coach on the Warriors now.
Oh,
there you go.
Hey.
Yes. All right, on to question 4, shifting away from sports. Music royalty is the category. In 1972, this legendary songwriter had a big night at the Grammys and set a number of records. She became the first woman to sweep the top 3 awards for album, song, and record of the year. She won Song of the Year for writing You've Got a Friend, which James Taylor took to number 1. She won Record of the Year for her own number 1 hit, It's Too Late. In doing so, she became the first person in Grammy history to win Record and Song of the Year in the same year for different songs. Who is she?
Ken, I got this.
Matt, I think I know this one. I just have to use my brain palace, as Sherlock would say. Okay, so it's too late, baby. Okay, so that's
more like a brain shack.
More like a brain, yeah, a brain shack, baby. Carole King. That's it, Carole King.
Yep. It'd be really embarrassing if I didn't get this right. First of all, I stayed in bed all morning just to pass the time, and Tapestry is one of my favorite albums, so I said Carole King.
Tapestry is my favorite album, too, and it is indeed Carole King. Nice pull, Neil. I was wondering if you were going to dance around her without actually getting her name. You said everything right.
No,
he always gets it eventually.
I'm glad it didn't take too long. Because Colleen loves her, and her mom loves her as well, and especially considering she's on Gilmore Girls, and she talks about her all the time, and I was like, what's her last name? But yeah, it came to me luckily.
All right, number 5. They Call the Writer. Carole King once wrote a song in 1991 called If It's Over with this woman, the singer and songwriter who holds the record for most Billboard #1 songs written or co-written by a woman with 18. This woman first appeared as a co-writer on a #1 song in 1990, and her most recent #1 co-writing credit came from a song that hit the top in December 2019.
All right, Jeff's got a good lead on this one, so we're going to lock in.
All right, so our conversation between Matt and I, so we kind of said Mariah Carey just initially because she had so many #1s, was very popular, but we thought maybe that was too early. Matt said Celine Dion, Janet Jackson. I said Dolly Parton, just because I
think Dolly would have had one before.
Yeah.
His work 9 to 5 is like early 80s, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You know what? I think I was focusing on her original version of I'll Always Love You. But I guess technically she's not a co-writer. He said the most #1 Billboard hits. I think Madonna. It's like Madonna and Rihanna have like the top Billboard hits of all time. I think like Rihanna just passed her for like 35.
Can't go wrong with Madonna. So I think Madonna's a fine guess.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll lock in with that.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I know she's got a bunch of songwriting credits, and I know your first gut over there was Mariah Carey, and that's what we went with.
You guys should have gone with your first gut. It is indeed Mariah Carey. She has 19 as a singer, 18 as a co-writer. Her only #1 that she didn't sing was her cover of I'll Be There by the Jackson 5. That was originally done by the Jackson 5. The song in December 2019 that hit the top was All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to number 6. Mariah Carey has credited the late Minnie Riperton as one of her vocal inspirations, but Riperton's legacy also lives on in today's entertainment world through her daughter, who was a cast member of Saturday Night Live from 2000 to 2008. She was recently nominated twice for the Guest Actress in a Comedy Series Emmy for a recurring role in The Good Place.
Well, Ken, we're locked in, yeah.
Matt, I'm pretty sure, almost positive, that Minnie Riperton's daughter is Maya Rudolph, who plays the judge on The Good Place.
Yep, and that 2000 to 2008 lines up perfectly. So.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of hints in here, but I didn't really need any of them. We're saying Maya Rudolph.
And points all around on that one. It is Maya Rudolph.
And actually, I texted Jeff like 3 days ago. I was like, "Oh, Maya Rudolph's the best part of the show." That was pretty, as usual. Her voice affectations are just hilarious.
Oh yeah, or like her in Big Mouth Bubble Bath. Yeah, she's so funny.
Pretty much, she's great in everything she does. Pretty much.
Yep.
And on to number 7, Rudolph's co-star on The Good Place, Darcy Carden, spells her first name with an apostrophe. She said she added the apostrophe to her name because she wanted it to be like the name of Darcy Retzky, who was the original bassist of this alternative rock band who rose to prominence in the 1990s. In 1995, this band's album, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, replaced Mariah Carey's Daydream album at #1 on the Billboard charts. The album featured the band's biggest mainstream hit, Named After a Year.
Yep, we're good.
Yeah. You know this one, Neil?
Yeah, is this the breaking of gourds?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is correct. I knew it just from the name because my brother was a huge Pumpkins fan, but Smashing Pumpkins.
Slaughtering Pumpkins? Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, Smashing Pumpkins.
And points for everybody again. Maybe I made that one a little too easy. Smashing Pumpkins is correct.
No,
that's okay. Matt was born in 1979, so
I think it's just the right audience. We often joke about Billy Corgan, whether it's music from Ken or wrestling from Matt. So,
at number 8, Under the Boardwalk, In Monopoly, how much rent do you owe if you land on Boardwalk and its owner also owns Park Place, but has not built any houses or hotels on either property?
Yeah, I had a guess, so we're going to lock in so you guys can talk it out.
All right. I know, Ken, that it's 50 for the regular place. And I know with hotel it's 2,000. And I think it's like double if you own both. So it might be 100.
It's up to you, man. I don't know.
So we'll go 100.
Yeah, see, I thought that maybe I've only played different versions of this, but I was thinking that the amounts were in 100, 200, 500 or whatever. So I thought that the Park Place was 500, and I don't think that if you own both places it matters. It's only if you put a hotel on it. So we just said 500.
Jeff talked that one out correctly. It is $100. It's $50 if you don't own both, and $100 if you own both of them. So it is double. So $100 is correct.
We only had the Star Wars version, so that's all I know, and I think that throws off all the different prices for me.
On to number 9. Know your elements. The Latin word argentum refers to this element, whose atomic number is 47.
All right, Jeff and I have discussed via text briefly, and we are locked in.
Matt, you were saying possibly argon or gold, right?
Yeah, because gold is AU, isn't it? Or is that?
That I wouldn't know. Maybe gold is AU. I know it doesn't look like gold, as stupid as that sounds.
Yeah.
Gold.
Or maybe gold is AG. It's something like that. And then silver might be AU. But
if silver is AU, I mean, is that something? Or is it, or no?
That's in the range of where those elements are.
So like gold and silver?
Argon's a gas, I think. So I don't think that's in that range.
Yeah, and I feel like when Jeff is spouting off element nonsense, he always says like argon is in the first 25 or something because the gases are early on, right? The noble gases.
Yeah, well, they're not. It's not necessarily
they're all on the right side.
That's So they would have numbers that end in 7, 8, or 9 mostly.
Okay. So I learned something there.
Or like 2, 10, 18, 36, 54, something like that. You know?
Based on this conversation, I'm so proud of you. How far you've come when it comes to elemental knowledge.
I know. I was like, I'm kind of touched.
He is saying things. That is true.
I'm glad to be here for this moment. This is very touching.
Yeah. So you want to go silver or gold?
Well, you said silver was AU.
I think so.
I don't know why. I let's just go silver because gold. I want to say gold because of Austin Powers 3, but I feel like that is wrong, and I want to go against my gut because my gut was wrong the first time.
We'll say silver.
Okay.
Well, if we're right, it sounds like you wronged your way into the right answer. Jeff?
Yeah, I believe gold is AU, Latin is aurum, so argentum is silver.
You guys did wrong your way into the correct answer. It is silver, AG.
I'm so proud.
Well, we righted our way into a 50-50, so I'm pretty proud of that.
You could have said argon. Been wrong, but
yeah.
Argyle.
I eliminated that pretty quickly.
Argyle.
Shout out to my old high school. We were known as the Argents, which to this day I do not know what that means, and nobody did at the time.
The Argents.
That's where that question.
Is that a
came
band?
From. I don't know, and I don't think a Catholic high school would name their mascot after a band, but you never know.
What was your mascot, by the way?
It was just like a knight, essentially.
Oh, knight. Okay, maybe that's what it was then. The silver for like the knight's armor or something.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Okay, so it turns out Argent was an English rock band formed in 1969 by keyboardist Rod Argent, formerly of the Zombies. They had a top 40 hit with the song Tragedy.
So cool.
And that's actually around the time the school was formed. So maybe that was. That was in the back of
Argent, so hot right now.
The deacon was secretly listening to rock, and he's like, I'm going to name the school Argents.
Well, there's exponential growth because they've gone from 2 Google searches to 4.
Yeah, the school is no longer in existence in its name, so it didn't exactly catch on. So, R.I.P. to the Argents. On to number 10, silver and gold. Michael Phelps has won 23 gold medals in his career. Within one, how many silver medals does he have?
Oh, wow. God, I was wondering if this was going to be a Ryan Lochte question.
I know, I was getting there. That's funny.
Not quite.
All right. So, Matt, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to picture that photo that he took shirtless in his Speedo. And he had all of his medals that he held in front of him.
Yeah, but that was just one Olympics.
Oh, I think it was recent, though, wasn't it? His shirtless photo, right? Where he has like all of his accomplishments and he like holds them up.
I don't keep up with his shirtless. I don't have a Google alert for shirtless Michael Phelps, Neal.
Oh, I have that hashtag on my Instagram and it just pulls up all those pictures. Now I get ads for his for his companies that he does.
Do you think 4 because gives us 3 and 5?
I'm fine with that. 4 is my favorite number. I thought it was more, but I think your logic is right. So maybe we should go 4, get 3 and 5.
Okay, we're gonna lock him with 4.
We thought it was quite low. We debated saying 0, but eventually we figured he was in a lot of like relay events and a lot of variables. So we said 2.
And both of you get points because the answer is 3.
Wow.
Nice.
What's the difference?
Very nice.
I did look it up after we locked in, Ken. It was like for butterfly and stuff that he had 2 butterfly silvers and 1 freestyle silver.
I see. So he just sucks at butterfly.
So medley, he's
just terrible.
He stinks.
After the first round, it looks like the score is Team Justin Timberwolves with 74. Those extra bonus points coming in handy, and Team Sod Squad with 90. So they have an early lead here.
All right, on to the swing round. Since the last answer was 3, this leads into this swing round where all good things come in 3s. Identify these places, persons, or things that come third.
Okay.
Here we go. The third longest river in the world. The third longest river in the U.S. The baseball player with the third most home runs all time. The third vice president of the U.S. The third largest country by area. The third most populous state in the U.S., the only movie franchise whose third installment won the Oscar for Best Picture, the third Golden Girl cast member to win the Emmy for Best Lead Actress in a Comedy, third president to be assassinated, and the fast food or coffee shop with the third most locations across the U.S., according to Business Insider.
Okay, we'll take a few minutes to go over these, and we'll be back.
All of our answers are now locked in for the swing round. And before we get to those questions and answers one more time, just wanted to say thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the show. You are the lifeblood of our show, as Jeff always says. And if you'd like to join patrons just like Chris, you can go to patreon.com/Triviality Podcast, where we have a ton of extra content, over 35 hours of extra content that you can download, as well as perks, stickers, posters, boxes, things like that. We've taken a little bit of a lull in sending out some of those perks in the mail just due to everything that's been going on, but everyone has been accounted for, and we are starting to mail out some things pretty soon here, and we appreciate everyone's support in that regard. But yeah, if you'd like to join other listeners like Chris, go to patreon.com/Triviality Podcast, and it would mean a lot to us to help support the show. Thank you. All right, Chris, what are these questions one more time, and we'll give you our answers.
All right, here we go. All good things come in 3s. Identify these places, persons, or things that come third. The third longest river in the world.
Yeah, we were kind of between a few of them, the Nile, the Amazon, the Euripides, but we went with Amazon.
So we were pretty sure that Nile and Amazon were number 1 and 2. So for the third one, we said the Yangtze.
And the Yangtze is correct. Matt and Neal, you guys were close in your discussion there.
Yeah, we did say it once.
Yeah, we said it. Yeah, that's all that counts.
Third longest river in the U.S.
Yeah, this one, Matt had some good logic. We knew Mississippi and Missouri were really long, and the only one we could think of on top of those was the Colorado. So that's what we went with.
Sounds pretty familiar. We thought maybe it was the Colorado.
It's actually the Yukon.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, wow.
Baseball player with the third most home runs all time.
This one I was pretty confident in. Remember that Barry Bonds passed Hank Aaron, and he was just ahead of Babe Ruth. So we said Babe Ruth.
Oh, no way. We said Ken Griffey Jr.
Babe Ruth is the correct answer. 714.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Griffey's over 600, right? I think he ended up at like 602 or something, but he was...
Yeah, I think he ended up around there.
Yeah.
Like high 500s or something like that.
Yeah.
Third vice president of the U.S.
This one was funny. This is when I enjoy having a team of Ken, Matt, and Jeff to help out because one, I was trying to remember what order the presidents were in for some reason because I had a brain fart. But we were talking about a lot of different people: Jefferson, Madison. I knew one of them were vice president or president, and then we were trying to think of Hamilton and what happens in that musical, and we kind of settled on Aaron Burr. I'm not sure if that's correct, but that's what we went with.
Yeah, we think this is a guy who took a shot. We said Aaron Burr.
Aaron Burr is the correct answer. Third largest country by area.
There's another one where we thought we knew the top three. We thought it was somewhere between Australia, China, and Russia. And we thought that Australia came in third there. So we said Australia.
Yeah. So I think the top 5 by area are Russia, Canada, and then I think it's China, the United States, and Brazil. Because I always know Brazil's 5th for population currently and size. So I think it's China.
And your thought is correct. It is China. Russia and Canada are 1 and 2. Third most populous state in the U.S.
Again, a tough one. We think that New York, California, and Texas are the top 3. Think California 1, Texas 2, and we said New York 3, so New York.
So we had quite a conversation on this one, and we did think that initially, but we were starting to think in terms of electoral votes and how things might change with the next census. So we think that maybe Florida moved into the 3 spot.
Florida did move into the 3 spot. It is Florida. The only movie franchise whose third installment won the Oscar for Best Picture.
Yeah.
You got this one, Neil?
Yeah, I think it's the only movie franchise that ends with more endings than the amount of entries in the franchise. We went with Return of the King, so Lord of the Rings.
Yep, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
And both correct. It is Lord of the Rings. The third Golden Girl cast member to win the Emmy for Best Lead Actress in a Comedy.
Yeah, this one, Matt and I were discussing. Our logic was B. Arthur, having come off of Maude and the other shows that she was well known for, probably would have won first, kind of being been around the block. And then we know Betty White is really known for this show, but I remember her being the comedic relief and not really having as much a part as Rue McClanahan. So we actually said that Betty White would have won third out of the trio.
Yeah, we just thought we knew the Golden Girls and thought it was a toss-up as to just choosing one, so we picked Betty White.
The answer is Rue McClanahan.
Oh, no.
Betty White won first, and then the next year B. Arthur won, and then the next year Rue McClanahan won. Back to back to back.
Wow.
The third president to be assassinated.
This one, we're pretty sure it was McKinley.
Yeah. Ken and I ran through them real quick. It goes Lincoln, Garfield, and McKinley.
You both know your history. It is McKinley. And the fast food or coffee shop with the third most locations across the U.S., according to Business Insider.
This is one that we kind of went over a few different options. We think Subway, McDonald's, and Starbucks are the top 3 there. Not 100% sure, but we locked in with Starbucks.
We also found the inclusion of coffee shops in the question to be reason for concern. So we said Starbucks.
It was a reason for concern because the answer is not a coffee shop. The correct answer is McDonald's. Subway is 1, Starbucks is 2, and McDonald's is actually number 3.
So
that was what we were afraid of.
Yeah, we were afraid that it was Subway. All right, going into the second round, it looks like Team Justin Timberwolves has 94 and has some ground to make up to catch up to the Sod Squad with 120. So let's see what you have in store for us for the second round, Chris.
All right, number 11. Category is I've made a huge mistake. The 18th Amendment installed prohibition. What amendment repealed it?
Locked in.
We can lock in.
Yep, same. Yep. So, Jeff, it's 21, yeah?
21?
Yep, we locked in with the 21st Amendment.
Correct. My friend Mike told me this question might be too easy for you guys, and he was indeed correct. It is the 21st Amendment. Number 12 is more alcohol. Back in January, the manufacturers of the beer Corona offered $15 million to change the name of coronavirus to what?
We're going to lock in here.
We're going to lock in. Okay. So you would think for a marketing ploy, they would probably want to name it like a competitor, right? Like Coors or not Milwaukee's Best, but Coors or Miller.
I was thinking it'd be another Mexican beer, like a Tecate or Modelo.
What do you mean another Mexican beer?
I mean what I said.
Who would they call out that would get them the most notice?
Probably Budweiser.
Bud Light maybe.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they have the most commercials out of everyone. They have the whatever that commercial is, the Cheers thing that they do.
Yeah, Dilly Dally
yeah.
or whatever that is.
I could see them going after Bud Light. I mean, they're always on TV.
Well, Budweiser would be the parent company. So you want to say Budweiser?
I guess if we need to be more specific, Bud Light. Okay. I feel like Budweiser seems too nice. I think it would be Bud Light.
Okay, Budweiser / Bud Light.
Okay.
We settled on Miller High Life.
Ooh.
The correct answer is Bud Light Virus. I'm inclined to give the points to Matt and Neal.
Oh, yeah. Give them points.
Okay. All right.
Nice. Nice.
Number 13. First thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. What former lawyer rose to prominence during the French Revolution and is famous for his role during the Reign of Terror, in which he helped to round up and execute people he and his associates deemed disloyal to the revolution? He eventually would be killed himself.
We're going to lock in because Jeff texted me a name, and it was the name in my head. So
was it Javert?
Is that Russell Crowe?
Yeah, that's Russell Crowe. Yeah, Les Mis. He's a cop, though, too. I know that everyone, if you're listening, I know he's not a lawyer. I don't know, Matt. I mean, would there have been a guy named Guillotine, maybe? And that's... No, he would have been the inventor of the guillotine, right? The lawyer wouldn't have named the blade after himself.
They wouldn't have named it after the first guy they executed with it.
The old Johnny Cochran machine. I have no idea. I'm at a loss.
I don't know.
Do you know any famous French people you can just name, like off the top of your head? Like
Tony Parker.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go with Tony Parker, famed basketball star.
All right. Well, I actually went over to Jeff's house the other day. We had some important business to discuss. Of course, I put on my mask and we maintained proper social distancing. But when he answered his door, his Robespierre was wide open.
Oh, my God.
And I saw everything.
Well, I'm not getting that image out of my head, but that is the correct answer. Robespierre.
There's really not much to think about.
Tony Parker was a good guess, though. Good guess.
Yeah, it was close.
Close.
Yeah.
Close one. Question 14. Misnomer. Which university was founded in 1842 by French priests, but you can't tell that from the school's nickname?
We can lock in.
Okay. You're locked in, Matt?
Yeah.
This DePaul, your alma mater?
I was thinking that. They are the Blue Demons, so.
Okay. And it sounds pretty French, right?
Yeah, it was Jesuit University. I think it was French priests.
We're going DePaul.
I think you misdomered on this. It's supposed to be the Golden Domers. Notre Dame is what we locked in with.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish is correct. Fighting Irish, even though they were founded by French priests.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yes. Cole Kmet, Matt. New Bears tight end.
New Bears tight end.
That was a nice story, I'm sure, especially for writers like yourself, Chris, to have a guy who's a lifelong Bears fan get drafted by the Bears.
That's right. The writers, some of my friends in Chicago had some fun with that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Question 15. The Price is Right. In May 1995, Sega made a surprise announcement at the first ever E3 conference in Los Angeles that its new game system, the Sega Saturn, scheduled to be released later that year, was actually available for sale immediately for $399. After that announcement, Sony's head of development, Steve Race, walked up to the microphone to talk about the impending release of the first ever PlayStation. Race's remarks were brief. He mentioned only a number and then sat back down to thunderous applause. What was that number?
That's funny. I remember when this came out.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the press conference. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on this, so I'm pretty confident we can lock in.
Okay, you probably know better than I would.
Yeah, with your first answer, we'll lock in.
My first? Okay.
All right. So I thought maybe $199. Jeff says $299. Trying to remember what I bought my N64 for. Do you think PlayStation was $299 at launch?
I thought they were both about $300. I'm pretty sure they were like.
Maybe I spent $350. Okay, that's fine. We'll say $299.
Yeah, I remember watching the guy walks up, grabs the mic, and says $299, and then sits down, and that's it, and everyone goes crazy. It's great. $299.
Yeah, it was a very nerd moment. $299 is correct.
Yeah.
Number 16, more video games. This category is called Shoot 'em Up. According to Fortune magazine, the Call of Duty franchise accounted for the top-selling video game in 7 of the 10 years of the 2010s. Can you name one of the other 3 with 2 bonus points each for getting extra? The years are 2010, a first-person shooter, 2013, action-adventure, and 2018, action-adventure.
Okay. I think, Matt, both of our answers we could lock in. I think those sound right.
Okay, so Jeff, I'm thinking 2018 would be Breath of the Wild.
Okay, so the only problem I have with that is I know the Switch just came out. Like,
yeah, it was like a launch title.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it was another one of the established console systems. Like, was it like a Red Dead 2 or another one of those?
It's Red Dead 2, 2018?
Yeah, it was that long ago. Because I remember, I just got it the other day, as you know. And I know it's been out for like 2 years. And I wonder if it's one that was on multiple platforms like that. Because I don't remember Breath of the Wild. Like, it was great and it sold a lot, but I don't think it outsold Odyssey. And that wouldn't be action adventure.
Yeah, it would.
Oh, maybe. I'm still inclined to think it's a cross-platformer, though.
If Odyssey got like packaged with the Switches, which I think it was, that could be.
It might have been.
Let's say Mario Odyssey for our answer. 2010 shooter. Let's say Halo 4 and 2013 action adventure. Let's say Drake's Uncharted.
Okay, so our official answer is going to be GTA 5. I think that's the 2013 one. For the bonuses, we said 2018 we think is Red Dead Redemption
2, yeah.
And the 2010 one we said was Halo 3.
Okay, the correct answers are Halo Reach, GTA 5, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Matt and Neal, I think you get 12 points for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it slipped our minds. Well, two of those games were Rockstar. That's impressive. I really didn't think Red Dead Redemption was that. I mean, I know it was a big game, but I didn't realize it was that far-reaching and that year also. I'm surprised. So I'm sorry I ignored that, Jeff. I didn't ignore it. I just didn't think it was
I got it.
Do they get those bonus points, the 2 points or whatever?
No, we were wrong.
Oh, you're wrong. Okay.
Number 17, you done messed up, but not really.
Just like we did.
In 1976, Patty Chayefsky won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for the movie Network. In 2011, when this famous writer of television and movies won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay, he began his speech by saying, "It's impossible to describe what it feels like to be handed the same award that was given to Patty Chayefsky 35 years ago for another movie with Network in the title."
We can lock him at.
So 2011?
2011, yes.
Yeah, we're elected with Social
I just
Network,
watched this.
right?
Yeah. Who's the director, though? Don't you need the director?
The director is David Fincher.
I'm looking for the person who won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Did he write it? Who wrote that, Jeff? Social Network?
I don't know.
So there's 2 guys that I always confuse. One of them's more television related, and one of them's more film related. Soderbergh is one of them, and the other one is there's two guys who I mix up. The guy who wrote The West Wing,
Aaron Sorkin.
And Aaron Sorkin. So
Aaron Sorkin wrote The West Wing.
So I think it's Soderbergh now.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay, let's say Soderbergh.
Yeah, we went
Everyone's
with
making the face.
Yeah, we're gonna take this answer and walk away with it with Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin is the correct answer. The category is referencing a Key and Peele sketch, substitute teacher Key and Peele sketch. If you haven't seen it,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah,
you done messed up, Aaron.
Man, I walked all the way through that one.
Number 18, market share. The social network is obviously about the creation of Facebook and came out in 2010. About 18 months after the movie premiered, Facebook acquired what other popular app then perceived to be its potential rival for $1 billion? I
think we're locked in here.
Yeah, Matt, are you thinking Instagram? Or did they also buy Snapchat? No, I think they bought they're part of Instagram, right?
Instagram was first because I think that was the first thing they folded into. Because I remember people complaining when Facebook bought Instagram because they didn't like the stories aspect and some of the other stuff that Facebook was doing with it. So that would make sense.
Yeah, do you want to go Instagram then?
Yeah, we can go Instagram.
Okay.
We also said Instagram.
And points to both teams. Instagram is correct.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't wait for Face Tick to come out.
Tick Face is much scarier.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Question 19. Dad didn't have this. Related to photography, who was the earliest president to have his picture taken? It was taken in 1843, 14 years after he left his one term in office.
We are locked in.
So, 14 years, so we're looking at, what, 1829, right?
Yeah. And then the category was dad. What was it? Dad didn't something?
Dad didn't get this.
Dad didn't get this. Founding father?
If we're just going through the presidents, starting with Washington, that takes us through like 18, and then you got your first four will probably take you to about 1820. So we're probably looking at the 7th or 8th. Do you think maybe Van Buren or Van Buren's 8th?
Man, see, this is where Ken is helpful because I don't know the orders of the president. I'm just trying to think of ones that I would have seen like on the internet, pictures of them. Quincy Adams, did he have I'm trying to think. Every time I think of John Quincy Adams, all I picture is Anthony Hopkins from Amistad, and I can never differentiate.
Oh, that's probably the answer then.
Well, yeah, right. Did he only have one term? Maybe it is John Quincy Adams.
Yeah. Sam Adams.
Yeah. I have no idea. So I'm good with whatever you want to go. You've been, your
let's
gut's
go with
been
one
right.
of the Adams. Let's go John Quincy Adams. Let's
okay.
lock in.
Or do you just want to say Adams and we'll get
No,
Jeopardy
I don't
rolls?
think that's how it works in this question.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go Quincy Adams.
So, and you're having trouble. Yeah. The reason you're having trouble distinguishing the Adams is because one Adams was the other's dad. And Dad didn't get this, so it's John Quincy Adams.
Mm-hmm.
John Quincy Adams is correct. And yeah, you wouldn't have gotten away with just saying Adams for that question.
Yeah, I knew it wouldn't.
I figured, yeah.
On to question 20. Don't Google it. Which hockey award is given to, quote, the player adjudged to have exhibited the best type of sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct combined with a high standard of playing ability? Unquote. It's usually given to a very good player who has very few penalty minutes.
Okay, we are going to go ahead and lock in here. I have somewhat of an inclination, but I'm not sure.
I can't think of any hockey awards except for the Conn Smythe, which I know is like the MVP award.
Okay.
And then
don't Google
there's like the Art Ross Award, which might be goalie. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Let's call it the Gordie Howe Award.
Gordie Howe. Okay.
He gets a lot
Gordie
of
Howe
stuff
Award
named
for
after him.
excellence and gentlemanliness.
For in the field of excellence.
We think that this is something that you might typo and get something dirty when you Google it, and it's Lady Bing.
Lady Bing is correct.
Yeah.
Don't Google it. Use Bing instead.
Oh.
Going into the final round, the scores are very, very close. It is 176 for Justin Timberwolves and 180 for some kind of sod squad. But before we hear these final questions, make sure to join us over at The Crop, our private Facebook group. We're almost at 1,000 people, which is super exciting. Feel free to interact with other listeners there and find out about all of the trivia options that are available to you now over the internet and streaming, and support the show. So if you'd like to join people over there, just go to Facebook and search The Crop. Chris, what are these final categories?
All right, these final categories are my favorite trivia areas. So here we go. The Emmys, the Grammys, the Oscars, Billboard charts, and American history.
All our wagers are locked in, so let's hear the questions and we will decide our answers, Chris.
All right, for the Emmys. In the last 3 years, there have been 2 men who twice were triple nominees for Best Lead Actor, Best Writing, and Best Directing for a comedy series in the same year. One of them pulled off the feat at the 2017 and 2018 awards and won for acting and directing in 2017. The other duplicated the feat in 2018 and 2019 and has won for acting twice. Name one of the 2. Grammys. As mentioned earlier, Carole King became the first person in Grammys history to win Record of the Year and Song of the Year in the same year for different songs. That feat has only been duplicated one other time in Grammys history, and it came when this male solo singer pulled it off at the 2018 awards. Oscars. In 2019, Scarlett Johansson joined the list of people who were nominated for Oscars in both the lead and supporting categories in the same year. That has happened 3 other times this century. In 2002, a woman, 2004, a man, and 2007, a woman. All 3 are Oscar winners, though they didn't necessarily win the Oscars in those years. Name one of them. And as a further hint, Meryl Streep is not one of them. And one of the women was nominated for playing a man. Billboard charts. This song, by no doubt, was one of the biggest hits of the 1990s, but it never appeared on the Billboard Hot 100. It spent 16 weeks atop the airplay chart, but never charted on the Hot 100 because it was never released as a commercial single in stores, thus ineligible for the chart per the rules of the time. And American history. Within one, how many presidents were members of the Whig Party?
Okay, we will take a look at these questions and get right back with our answers. All the answers are locked in. Let's hear those questions and provide our wagers and answers.
In the Emmys, in the last 3 years, there have been 2 men who were triple nominees for Best Lead Actor, Best Writing, and Best Directing for a comedy series in the same year. One of them pulled off the feat in 2017 and 2018 and won for acting and directing in 2017. The other duplicated the feat in 2018 and 2019 and has won for acting twice. Name one of the 2.
All right, so we wagered 30 on this one. I thought that the 2018 one was Donald Glover for Atlanta, but Neal was pretty sure that the 2018-2019 was Bill Hader for Barry, so we locked in with Bill Hader.
Yeah, we struggled desperately with this one. I had Donald Glover on the mind due to his work on Atlanta, but I watched that pretty recently, and I know that he did not direct most of the episodes. He has I'm forgetting his name, but it's a Japanese director who does his music videos and most of the episodes.
Hiro Murai.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
and maybe he directed the pilot or something. So we said Donald Glover.
And what was your wager on that one?
10.
10. The correct answers are Bill Hader and Donald Glover.
All right.
Nice.
On to the Grammys. As mentioned earlier, Carole King became the first person in Grammys history to win Record and Song of the Year in the same year for different songs. That feat has only been duplicated one other time in Grammys history, and it came when this male solo singer pulled it off at the 2018 awards.
Yeah, we wagered 30 once again. We had talked about Donald Glover, because I know he had a couple of awards for This Is America, but we remembered that I believe the question said it was for 2 different songs. So we knew a few years ago Bruno Mars just killed it at the Grammys and won like a ton of awards. So we just thought by sheer number of awards he would be the person to go with. So we went with Bruno Mars.
Yeah, we figured this was 24 Karat Magic era Bruno Mars, so we said Bruno Mars.
For 10.
And that is correct. He won Record of the Year for 24 Karat Magic and Song of the Year for That's What I Like, Bruno Mars. Oscars. In 2019, Scarlett Johansson joined the list of people who were nominated for Oscars in both the lead and supporting categories in the same year. That has happened 3 other times this century. In 2002, a woman, 2004, a man, and 2007, a woman. All 3 are Oscar winners, though they didn't necessarily win their Oscars in those years. Name one of them. Hint, Meryl Streep is not one of them, and one of the women was nominated for playing a man.
Yep, we wagered 30 on this one. So this was a fact. I believe it was on a Patreon bonus episode. I remember telling Jeff, I was like, I bet if Scarlett Johansson's going to get nominated twice, which would put her into this exclusive club of 6 or 7 people. And one of my favorite actresses, I knew this happened to, Cate Blanchett. And the clue about playing a man kind of reaffirmed it for me when she played Bob Dylan. So we said Cate Blanchett for 30.
We also wagered 30, and we struggled pretty hard on this one. We were talking about Hilary Swank, but the facts just didn't quite match up. And then we thought about Cate Blanchett because I remembered she played Bob Dylan, and I thought she was nominated for it, and I could not remember her being nominated twice that same year, but we guessed Cate Blanchett.
And both teams are correct. Cate Blanchett is one of the 3. The other 2 are Julianne Moore in 2002 for Far From Heaven and the Hours. Jamie Foxx was the man in 2004 for Ray and Collateral.
Oh, right.
And not Stealth.
And Cate Blanchett. And Cate Blanchett was nominated for I'm Not There, which was the Bob Dylan movie, and Elizabeth the Golden Age.
Elizabeth the Golden Age is what I wasn't thinking of.
The Golden Age.
That's very obscure, too.
Yeah, it is. I feel like that's one of those, I'm sure she was great in it. I actually haven't seen that one, but that's like one of those Oscar nominations where it's like, well, she's playing like a really old British person. I'm sure it's really good. Just give her the nod.
I was just like, why are they doing a sequel to Elizabeth?
Billboard charts. This song, by no doubt, was one of the biggest hits of the 1990s, but it never appeared on the Billboard Hot 100. It spent 16 weeks atop the airplay chart, but never charted on the Hot 100 because it was never released as a commercial single in stores, thus ineligible for the chart per the rules of the time.
Yeah, we wagered 30 on this one too. We talked about Just a Girl and Spiderwebs, but I don't remember those being as popular as Don't Speak, which I remember hearing for entire years straight. So Don't Speak is what we said.
We wagered 10 on this one. We were pretty much between Spiderwebs and Don't Speak. I'm guessing Don't Speak was the one that was not put forward as a single, and our answer is Don't Speak.
I am making these questions too easy for you guys. Don't Speak is correct, and everybody is 4 for 4 so far.
I think you're in the same wheelhouse as all of us, I think, is really what it is.
Yeah.
I think so. It sounds like it, doesn't it? And finally, American history. Within one, how many presidents were members of the Whig Party?
We wagered 10 on this one. Science or American history, not really our strongest suit between the two of us. I know that there was a bunch early on and then it dries up pretty quickly, but we said 5.
We wagered 30 on this one. Jeff?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know exactly this one because much like the list of presidents Ken has memorized, I've tried to go through and figure out parties. VPs is next, but I think it's kind of funny because I think it's only 2 Whig tickets, but both presidents died in office, so we think it's 4 because I'm pretty sure it's Harrison and then Tyler and then like Taylor and Fillmore because the 2 men died in office and then passed it on to their VPs. So we say it's 4 Whig presidents.
That is exactly correct. It is 4, and it was Harrison, Tyler, Taylor, and Fillmore.
All right. After a very exciting final round and a full game for that matter, with questions really in our wheelhouse here, which is great. It looks like the scores are going to be Team Sod Squad with 270, and the winner today, winning back, is the Justin Timberwolves with 306 as today's cream of the crop.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah!
You won the last time you teamed up. Although I'm feeling very sod right now.
Yeah, fortune favors the bold because you're the cream of the crop.
Oh, that was a really great game, Chris.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And I can't believe you guys pulled ahead in that final round after being down
300
for the
points
whole
is a
game.
lot of points.
So it's been a great game, honestly.
Yeah, it was really well worded, and the clues really helped, especially the categories. Is there anywhere people can check out your work, your writing?
Yeah, it's StarTribune.com, our newspaper website here in Minneapolis. Obviously it's a tough time right now with COVID-19, having an effect on almost everything. But we're still putting out a lot of good coverage, a quality newspaper, both sports related and virus related for Minnesota. I know you asked people to plug stuff, so if I could just plug something, I would just say subscribe to your local newspaper if you can, because it's tough times right now, and those entities produce a lot of valuable local journalism, especially in times like these.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially to support local newspapers and print media, and just newspapers in general, to get the facts instead of from friends or from the internet, as we always kind of joke around about. But yeah, definitely check out StarTribune.com to check out some of Chris's writing, which is just as good as all the trivia questions he wrote today. And thank you for being a Patreon supporter as well. It means a lot.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me today.
Of course. You're welcome back anytime. And it looks like our wager today, as we said, it's going to have to be Jeff and Ken talking for a minute straight about the rivals of their favorite teams in whatever respective sport they would like. And they have to talk glowingly.
I think Jeff has to do Michigan football. Is that...
No, I was going to say I have to talk glowingly about you and Neal, because you've beaten Ken and I, which is one of my favorite teams. Which is going to really suck.
Yeah, you could talk glowingly about us. That's fine.
We could talk about the Magpies.
Terrible.
Yeah, the Magpies. Well, yeah, thank you very much again, Chris, for joining us. Make sure to check out his work. Join him at patreon.com/Triviality Podcast. And on behalf of Ken, Matt, Jeff, Chris, my name is Neal, and that was Triviality.
So don't Google it.
Yeah, the award.
I do want to. So, while
Come
Ken,
on, man, I'm gonna have to cut that for sure.
Why? What's something bad?
Yeah, don't
Google it.
All right.
Don't Google it.
Why don't you tell me so I don't have to Google it?
Let's say it's the award. Do not Google it.
Oh.
You're the worst.
Gross.
Okay. So that's what happens when,
All right,
when a Smurf...
that'll be my end clip there.
Yeah.